Well, good evening, race fans, and welcome to Renu Sealcoating Championship Night here from the Five Flags Speedway for Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Series, the season ending for the North-South Racing League. And we're proud to bring you tonight's racing action here and remind you that Renu Sealcoating has been in the business for over 20 years, making your driveways, parking lots, and playgrounds look fantastic. With over 75 years of combined asphalt expertise, they treat you and every other customer like family and stand by their work every time. Whether it's your home driveway or megastore parking lot, Renu Sealcoating has you covered. Give them a call at 608-576-7897 or visit them on the World Wide Web at renusealcoating.com for a quote today. We bring in alongside us here the Storm from the north. It is Mr. Kelly Dahl representing Canada here tonight. And Kelly, we are here at the season finale 200-lap event here at the Five Flags Speedway.
Yeah, finally closing off the season here. A long event, 200 laps, as you mentioned. It is going to be an endurance race for these drivers. It's going to take an hour at least to get through all of these laps, and it's really going to come down to who can save the tires, who can make the right strategy call, because I'm certain these guys are going to have to come down pit road at some point to swap those tires. So when you come down is going to make or break your race.
Yeah, and as we look at the race advance powered by simracerhub.com, if you take a look there, Kelly, you see those one extra sets of tires. So really, my mindset goes to making this two 100-lap segments. But those tires, this track are very abrasive to these racing Hoosier tires that they are on these late model stocks here. So it's going to be interesting to see. You can't push your car too hard, but we know that the Guillaume Fortin has to start at the back of the field after his win last week in the at the win at Lanier. And we take a look at those points coming up here just in a moment. Just a half mile, so 100 miles here tonight. And Bryan Hacker holds the late model stock track record at a 16.559. And then as promised, let's take a look at those point standings coming in here tonight. Well, what a week changes, Kelly. Just 10 points separating the top two. Dylan Connor, top rookie, sitting in third. Scott Negus and the 46 of Philip Martin rounding out your top five. And it's pretty interesting here that after last week's race, was 10 points separating your top two.
Yeah, it is coming down to this thing. Guillaume has to come from the back of the field, get in front of Bryan Hacker, try to get as many bonus points as he can, and possibly even win this race. I mean, if Bryan gets some bonus points and finishes in the top three, it doesn't matter what Guillaume does. So Bryan is just looking to gain 45 points here tonight. He does that, he will secure the championship. I'm getting the feeling that we're not going to know for sure until the admins come in at the post-race show and tell us who won after doing all the math.
Yeah, I mean, it comes down pretty easy. We take a look here at the Spring Championship by the numbers. Bryan Hacker comes in 10 points ahead of Guillaume Fortin, and he has really been Goliath this season. 6 wins out of the 14 races that have been ran. They've both set fast time 3 times. The nod goes to Bryan Hacker with 10 top 5s. Guillaume has one more top 10 with 13. But the tale of the tape right there is the bonus points. Look at that right there, Kelly. That is pretty much the difference coming in here tonight. Bryan Hacker 78, Guillaume Fortin with 63. So that is a difference of 15 points just in bonus points in that gap. Well, just 10 points coming in here tonight. So that's the numbers by there. And we got, well, I'll play it up. It's USA versus Canada. You got Guillaume Fortin representing north of the border, Bryan Hacker representing the USA here, and it's going to come down to the end who's going to get that Wizards Design Championship trophy for the Renu Sealcoating late model stocks. We're glad to have you here along with us. But, man, I tell you, this is going to be an exciting one here tonight.
Yeah, even qualifying is going to be important because there is bonus points for the fastest qualifier. Even if Guillaume gets it and he does have to get sent to the back of the field, he will still keep those bonus points. So I'd expect him to come out in qualifying, try to set as fast of a lap as possible. But Dylan Connor, he's going to be looking to play spoiler. He has gotten the most of those fast time awards throughout this season. and he's looking to add one more and secure his chances at the Rookie of the Year title.
Yeah, Connor's had great speed all season long. I think he would be up there a little bit tighter for this championship battle. Made it be a three-way battle, but Lady Luck was not on his side in some of those races, and you got that redraw that comes into play as well, presented by RC2 Graphic Solutions. We're gonna find out here in just a quick amount of time. The Mad Plowing Fast Time Award who that's gonna go to, Kelly, and those points are gonna be ever so important. Right now, Dylan Connor sits atop of the practice chart. Bryan Hacker sitting second, and Guillaume Fortin fourth. Scott Negus is fifth. And Rob Donitson is sitting there in the third spot there in the 00. So the rookie class really going to come down here as well, as that's a good battle between Connors and Scott Negus, who's going to take home the rookie honors this season.
Yeah, I'm sure Connor would have secured that a long time ago if he had been able to find a little more luck throughout the season. I mean, like I said, he's been the fast time driver multiple times this year, but has not been able to really find luck. Didn't really find victory lane until later on in this season, despite having some really promising runs. And now still he's looking for the Rookie of the Year title. It will help ease things for him a little bit, and maybe next season he can come back and make another challenge for the championship.
And just like that, Barney waves the checkered flag on practice, and that means we are headed into our Mad Plowing Fast Time Qualifying. And tonight's Fast Time Award is brought to you by Mad Plowing, the proud sponsors of Speed. Whether it's clearing snow in the wintertime or keeping your lawns looking sharp in the summer, Mad Plowing gets the job done fast and efficiently. Serving Oregon, Wisconsin, and surrounding areas, they're the trusted name for all of your landscaping needs. Call them today at 608-217-3528 and let Mad Plowing show you the meaning of speed. And just like that, Kelly, we are ready to go. And some drivers already up onto the racetrack. Josh Cole going to be the first one that our cameras are catching here as we look at the Mad Plowing Fast Time Qualifying coming up here on the racetrack.
Yeah, a couple drivers coming across the line to get their first times. It'll be Travis Heffler will be the first one to check one in. Then Austin Williams and Josh Cole with a 16.816. Few of these drivers may have been taking it slow on the first lap, looking to get their fastest lap in on the second. Let's see where the second laps come in. Heffler immediately will jump to the top with a 16.742. That's pretty close to what we saw in practice as our fastest laps. I think there is still a little bit of speed left out there, though.
Definitely will. And right now, just 2/10 off that fast, or the pole, or the track record speed right now as we watch the number 20, Justin McDuff, coming through turns 3 and 4. Adam Gable jumping to second quick. McDuff gonna go a little bit slower on lap number 2, a little bit quicker with a 16.82, as now Gable will slot into the third spot. Randy Nichols, the driver out of Texas, gonna go fourth quick, and a lot of guys doing one and done. Jeff Bergner in the chrome can out there, rolling through turns 1 and 2. You see that car a little bit yawed out sideways, coming through turns 1 and 2, now into 3 and 4. 3 and 4, there is no white line on the bottom. Kelly, how tricky is that for these drivers? And then we know the difference between the apron and the racetrack is very there, as Bergner will go 7th quick early on here in Mad Plowing Fast Time Qualifying.
I mean, sometimes you want to kind of hit that apron a little bit in the 3 and 4, hook it a little bit, and help the car rotate. You just got to be careful when your tires are a little bit worn. It may upset the balance and throw you a little bit sideways. Having a little bit of a lull in the action here as we get the halfway point in our qualifying. We got a few drivers waiting before they head out. Looks like Philip Martin is about to roll now, so we'll see what he's going to be able to do in that 46 as he weaves coming off of pit road, trying to get a little bit of heat into those tires. As he also doing a little bit of stomping on the brakes, stomping on the gas, just trying to get as much temperature as he can into those things as he rolls out. Scott Negus as well rolling, and Scott Austin is going to be coming out. And now here we go, Guillaume Fortin rolling out of pit road.
Our camera's on the 46 of Philip Martin as lap number 1 underway for the driver of the Waltmeyer DCD 46 Ford Mustang will come off turn number 4. Lap number 1 going to go into the books, and it is a decent one. Fifth quick with a 16.81 is now your driver second in the points out of Montreal, Quebec. The 13 QC, the Metal 360 Ford Fusion rolling off turn number 4. And lap number 1 going to be a throwaway, it looks like, Kelly. So he hits lap number 1, and that is good enough for 18th quick.
Yeah, we've seen a few drivers do that so far where they've just thrown away the first lap, got temperature in, but didn't wear them. But now let's see. This is going to be his fast lap. He comes off of turn 4. It looked pretty neat and tidy. Is it going to be good enough for the fastest time? It is. Up to the top of the board, 16.676. That is a blazing fast lap, almost faster than we saw in practice. Still got a few other drivers left to go. Bryan Hacker coming around on his lap. Let's see what he can do, as he did again a bit of a throwaway lap on his first lap, coming through 3 and 4 now. What is the 2 car going to do? Is he going to answer back to Guillaume Fortin coming across the line, waiting for that lap time?
Second quick.
He does not. Does not beat Guillaume. Now Dylan Connor is actually going to jump him as well.
Dylan Connor second quick right there, but that's going to be a few bonus points. That's going to strengthen Guillaume Fortin's title hump. But will Connor go quicker on lap number 2? He does, but not quick enough. Guillaume Fortin sitting on top of the Mad Plowing Fast Time Award, going to the driver to the 13 QC. And that is all 23 cars that have taken time here tonight. And Guillaume Fortin coming out swinging, Kelly, here in qualifying.
Yeah, and it's only 1 bonus point for the Fast Time Award, but that may matter when we come down to it at the end of the night. I think we were pretty close at the end of the fall season. I think it was only maybe 2 or 3 points, so it could be the difference maker, but we are going to have to send Guillaume to the back of the field, and we are going to move to Dylan Connor will be the first one to draw in our redraw here, as we are going to get our drivers all set up, get them all lined up here, and move along to our top 8 redraw.
Yeah, the redraw tonight is being brought to you by RC2 Graphic Solutions, your go-to source for professional graphic design specializing in the racing industry. From season schedules and event flyers to winter graphics and social media content, we deliver high-quality designs that make your league or event stand out. Need custom graphics? Not a problem. Contact us today at RC2 Graphic Solutions at gmail.com. or visit us on Facebook at facebook.com/RC2 Graphic Solutions. Your events, our designs. And we are ready to go with our final redraw of the season, and it is going to be a make or break one here, I believe, here for some of these drivers. As we take a look at our first driver, is going to be our Rookie of the Year contender, who leads the Rookie of the Year points coming into tonight's racing action. That is the driver of the number 90. Do we have him? Dylan Connor.
Yeah, he's here.
Yeah, he's there. There he is. Dylan Connor going to come into the booth. He's going to get first choice, and the leading Rookie of the Year coming in here to Five Flag Speedway, and you got another fast hot rod underneath you. What's it going to take to be up front at the end of 200 laps?
I think tires are going to be huge, especially 200 laps here, one set. Tires and strategy, depending on when you take them, but regardless, you're going to have to make sure you save some tires.
Well, you know how this works. You've been in the RC2 Graphic Solution Top 8 redraw most of the season here this season, and what number would you like 1 through 8 on the board?
Try 7.
Going to go number 7. Going to come off the board and out of the bucket. And 7th is going to be P number 3 inside row number 2. You like that inside starting spot here early on in this one?
Yeah, I think it'd be a good advantage, especially at the beginning here. I think more rubber gets laid down and less caution laps. I think the outside will prevail later on.
Well, we wish you the best of luck here tonight, and best of luck for your chances of being crowned Rookie of the Year.
Thank you.
There you go. Dylan Connor going to roll off in P number 3, Kelly, and I believe you're caught up now with our current points leader.
Yeah, here with Bryan Hacker, third fastest qualifier and championship contender. Bryan, what do you think it's going to take to close out the championship here tonight?
Just got to be clean, run a smart race, and not worry about what G's doing, and just control what we can control.
All right, well, this redraw here might be important. Number 7 already off the board. Your choice, though, for the rest of the numbers between 1 and 8. What are you taking tonight?
Let's go 3.
Number 3 coming off the board, and that's probably the worst one you could have taken. You are starting all the way back in P8, so outside in row 4. You think you're still going to be able to make your way forward from there?
Yeah, we're going to have to try. I mean, 200 laps is a long time, so we'll just need to be patient.
All right, well, hopefully that patience pays off, and maybe we'll be talking to you later tonight as a champion. Good luck to you, Bryan.
Thanks.
So Bryan Hacker, he draws the unlucky number 3, putting him all the way back into P8, but we're going to move along here, and I think our next one will be Travis Hoffler.
Yeah, the driver of the number 7, the Travis Hoffler, going to come in to the redraw. The poll's still out there, so numbers 3 and number 7 have been chosen. We'll let you choose your number, and then we'll do a quick chat. What number would you like here tonight?
I'll take 8.
Number 8 coming out of there, and it is going to be P6, so outside row number 3, kind of the middle of the road there. Thoughts on starting 6 here on this 200-lap championship night here for the Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Series?
I think we can make that work. Outside seems to be there as long as you got somebody inside of you. I don't think it's a viable option unless you're literally outside somebody. But we'll see what we can do, and then we get to the front.
All right, 200 laps to get it done. A long ways to go. One set of tires. Are you concerned about wearing these tires out? We know how abrasive Five Flag Speedway is.
Oh yeah, do y'all have any more extra tires up there in the booth?
They did not give us any allotment, so.
No, it should be all right. We get a tire as long as we can make it to lap 100. I think we'll be fine. Just gonna have to take it easy and manage it up.
Well, we wish you the best of luck here and with your 6th starting spot. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you here at the end of the night.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Travis Hoffler going to roll off P number 6 after choosing number 8.
Now we're going to keep moving along here. Going to go to Josh Cole here. And Josh, pole is still out there. A number of the outside lane has been taken as well, so your chances are looking pretty good. So your choices for tonight, 1, 2, 4, 5, or 6.
I'm going to take 4.
Number 4 coming off the board. Well, you're going to be starting on the outside, but it's going to be the outside pole, P number 2 for you. How you liking that spot?
That's good, but there's a lot of laps, so you got to save your tires here. As long as the setup stays loose like it is, I've been having trouble all year with the setups. I'm not really good with tight, but as long as the setup stays loose, I'll be fine.
All right, well, good luck to you, Josh. Hopefully the setup does stay loose for you, and you can turn that P2 starting spot into a P1.
Thank you.
So Josh Cole draws the outside pole, but the actual pole position is still out there, so let's keep moving along here. Halfway down, who do you got, Al?
I got the driver of the 91, Mr. Adam Gable, who's had a lot of speed this season. I would say the Lady Luck has not been on his side, but Adam, final race of the season. I know it hasn't been quite the season you're looking forward to, but to be here in the RC2 Graphic Solution Top 8 redraw, it's got to be a good boost going into the off season.
Yeah, it's a big boost going into the off season. Tonight, one of my favorite tracks, so hopefully we can put on a good show tonight.
Well, I got some good news for you. The poll is still available. We're halfway through the redraw. You got 1, 2, 5, or 6 to choose from. What number would you like to see where you're going to start here tonight?
Let's do 6.
We're going to do number 6 coming off of the board, and out of the hat, and 6 is going to be, well, inside row, but P number 7. So starting back in row number 4, but inside, good to start here where the rubber seems to be laying down. Do you think we'll see that track widen out here?
Yeah, I hope it widens out a little bit tonight. It's a long race, 200 laps. We just got to take care of our tires with that one set sitting in there.
We wish you the best of luck here from your 7th starting spot. Always a pleasure to talk with you, Adam. Hopefully, we'll talk to you here at the end of the 200-lap championship night.
Yep, hopefully.
All right, Adam Gable going to roll off P number 7, Kelly, as you have caught up now with the driver of the number 5.
Yeah, caught up now with Scott Austin, driver in the number 5. And Scott, good news for you. No matter what you choose, you're going to be starting in the ahead of the rest of your group here. So your choices 1, 2, or 5, and the poll is still out there. So what would you like?
Well, of course, we're going to take the 5.
All right. Well, you're going to take the 5 as the driver of the 5, and guess what? You're starting in P number 5. So it is going to be an inside row to start here. How are you liking that?
I'll take it. I'll tell you what, after the season that we've had, I'm just glad to be back up here talking with you guys.
Well, hopefully you can be back here talking with us later on tonight if you can get yourself up a few more spots into the top 3. So good luck to you, Scott, and hopefully we'll hear from you later.
We'll talk soon, guys. Good night.
All right, so Scott Austin takes P5. The poll is still out there, so for our next driver, he's got a 50-50 shot at it.
Yeah, you got a 50-50 shot for the driver of the 55, the Blue Oval Racing entry of Scott Negus. And Scott, the poll is still out there, so you got a 50-50 shot at that. But you come in here, you're racing with Dylan Connor for the Rookie of the Year status. You guys have had a fantastic season as we come in here to 5 Flags. Let's get this draw out. Would you like the number 1 or number 2 out of the bucket here?
Number 2, please.
Number 2. So Scott's going to take the number 2, and number 2 equals the number 1. We've got a pole sitter here, and is Scott Negus. And Scott, 200 laps. We know that there's going to be some strategy play with the tires, but do you like 5 Flags, and what's the trick of getting around here and saving those tires?
I absolutely love 5 Flags. However, I am nowhere near the speed these guys are, so I don't know what it's going to be to save the tires. I'm sure I'm going to get freight trained at the start, but hopefully we'll be there at the end.
Well, you're going to lead them to the green flag here tonight in the Championship 200 presented by Renu Sealcoating, and it's been a great season for you, sitting inside the top 5 in those points. Best of luck in your championship hunt for the Rookie of the Year honors. Let's see what you can do here tonight.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
There you go. Scott's going to roll off on the pole, Kelly, as he chose the number 2.
Yeah, but last but not least, we have got the driver, the number 12, Rodney Huntoon. And Rodney, a lot of these guys are talking about how the starting spot is not going to be important. It is a 200-lap race, but I'm sure you're curious at where you're going to start. It is going to be right in the middle of this redraw. You're starting P number 4 here tonight. How do you like that?
I'm just happy to be back in the top 8 here. End of the season's been going downhill, and tonight we're racing with some heavy hearts. We lost a family member, so hopefully we can get something out of this.
Well, hopefully you can race in their memory, have a good finish here tonight to close out the season. We're going to wish you luck here, starting on the outside of row number 2. We'll hopefully be talking to you later on tonight.
Thank you.
All right, so Rodney Huntoon rolls off in P4, and that is going to be your top 8 redraw, Al.
Yeah, let's take a quick moment, and we'll bring in the driver of that number 13 QC, our Mad Plowing Fast Time Award. Guillaume coming out with the muscle show and grabbing the pole, grabbing an extra bonus point here tonight. Going to bring that points battle down to single digits, but you have to start at the back of the field. What's it going to take to get through the 22 cars in front of you?
Oh, it's going to take a lot of patience tonight. 200 laps at a long race. And with all the bonus points out there for all the having 0x and avoiding incidents, it's going to be the key, I think, in the championship points, all the bonus points.
Well, we wish you the best of luck. We'll get you back into your team chat, but congratulations on grabbing the Mad Plowing Fast Time Award, and good luck here tonight. We'll keep an eye on that battle.
Thank you, Al.
All right, that was Guillaume Fortin, Kelly, and that is that. And that means it is time for the starting lineup for the final time in 2025 for the Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Series. And this is your starting lineup, virtue of that RC2 Graphic Solutions redraw. Scott Negus is going to be on the pole here for tonight's main event. Josh Cole will roll off on the outside. Dylan Connor will roll off third. Rodney Huntoon will start on the outside of row number 2. Scott Austin and Travis Hoffler will roll off 5th and 6th. In your 4th and final row, the redraw will be Adam Gable in your current high points man. The driver out of Huntley, Illinois. This is Bryan Hacker. As you're looking at the 13 QC, who's at fast time here this afternoon. Taking a look at the remaining of the grid here tonight, it'll be Rodney Huntoon making it in there. Randy Nichols will start 10th. Brendan Campbell and Philip Martin making up your first 6 rows.
Yeah, then we're going to see the 20 of Justin McDuff rolling off in 13th with Matt Hackthorne on his outside. The 00 of Rob Donaldson had a fast time in practice, couldn't quite get it in qualifying. Let's see if he can move up from 15th. Jeff Bergener going to be rolling off in 16th. Chad McLeod in that 93 car. He'll be sitting in 17th to start with Amos Odegaard in 18th. Shane Loveridge rolls off in 19th in the number 72 with Matt Cook to his outside, rounding out the top 20. Austin Williams was only able to set a 16.995, so he'll be rolling off in 21st. Mark Keeler will be 22nd. Dan Janjanin in 23rd, and Guillaume Fortin will be starting shotgun on the field. Watch that 13 QC to be moving himself up there to challenge for the championship.
23 cars strong at the championship finale. Just shows how strong the North-South Racing League is, and we want to thank you, the fans, the viewers of the North-South Racing League and the Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Series. One final time as they roll down the backstretch here into turns 3 and 4. The pace truck is going to make the hard left-hand turn, get into the Renu Sealcoating start zone. Scott Negus is going to hit the hammer. We are racing for the final time this season.
And Scott Negus is going to lead the field into turn 1, but look on that outside. Josh Cole trying to hang it out there. It was Dylan Connor trying to work his way up on the inside there. Cole going a little high through 3 and 4. A couple drivers getting a little bit loose. We've heard the setup is a little bit looser this week. A couple drivers liking that. A couple drivers struggling with it. But Dylan Connor, he's going to move himself up in a second. Nearly getting loose off of turn 2, though.
Got a little bit free there through off of the corner. Now finds himself there. Now Cole going to take a crossover move off of turn number 4. He'll dive to the inside and through turns 1 and 2. Right there on the white line, but the momentum on the outside is going to keep Connor Negus trying to hold court up at the front of this one. Scott Austin running in 5th. Rodney Huntoon there. I want to send our thoughts and prayers to the Huntoon family after a loss as he sits in the 5th spot. Bryan Hacker quickly into the 6th spot. Adam Gable 7th. Brandon Campbell, Travis Hoffler, and Randy Nichols, your top 10.
Guillaume Fortin already moving himself up multiple positions as he comes off of turn 4. He'll now be scored in 19th. Still got a long ways to go, but there is a long night of racing up ahead of us. Scott Negus continues to lead here, but Dylan Connor seems to be creeping a little bit closer in that 90 car. He has a bit of a better line off of turn 4 as he had a head of steam coming in, down the front straightaway. He actually just set the fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, that lap was a 16:84, so those 3 drivers are single filing it out at the front of this one, and about a 2 or 3 car length back to the finish line. Number 5, the Austin Designs entry, running there in spot number 4 in the familiar yellow number 5 color code, and now Bryan Hacker up underneath the 12 of Huntoon to move himself into 5th. All Hacker has to do is finish in front of Guillaume Fortin. It doesn't matter what Fortin does. We're going to watch that championship battle all night long. A little bit deeper in the field. Looked like it was Chad McLeod and Shane Loveridge doing battle side by side. Good to see Shane back out with us. He drives from down under. He's the Australian outlaw, and he is working his way up through the field in that number 72. And he's got the Renu Sealcoating 93 of Chad McLeod working the outside of him, and this is a great battle. We're already starting to see that upper groove coming into play. Oh, they got a little tight there right in front of the 21 of Bergner.
Yeah, it looks like Loveridge actually got loose in the corner, and it walked up the track on him as he tried to save it, and that nearly put the 93 into the wall. But now he has lost out on another spot as that 21 of Bergner was able to run the bottoms a little bit better. But look at the speed off that high line. So Loveridge McLeod may be starting to figure out where he can find the speed on the high side. But look at them, just a few spots behind. There's Guillaume Fortin up to 18th, and now he's trying to find a way around the 85 of Austin Williams. He's got a good run down the front straightaway. Not enough to get the spot just yet, though.
Yeah, we're watching this battle for that 13th spot. Bergner still working down low. Unable to clear that Renu Sealcoating 93 of McLeod. McLeod working the outside of the racetrack. Now Bergner has sole possession of spot number 14 as they all work here around the Speedway. Donaldson behind them in the 00. He's looking pretty good. He's got Williams and the Guillaume Fortin right there as well, running in the 18th spot. And right now, everybody's still on the lead lap. A little bit closer. Here comes the battle for Hoffler. He's starting to feel pressure, and he's applying the pressure to Randy Nichols. That's the battle for the 9th spot.
Yeah, Nichols got by him. Oh, Loveridge gets turned sideways off of 4 just behind them. He somehow saves it. Looks like he got into it with the 21, and somehow the 21, I think, straightened him out afterwards as well. So 72 car of Loveridge able to hang on to it, nearly ended his night right there. But I think all he got was a little bit of extra wear onto his tires. This car is looking fine, but I think those tires are going to be running a little hot here for the next couple laps.
Yeah, he might be a little bit hot underneath the collar as well, getting roughed up like that up off of turn number 4. What an amazing driver for the Australian outlaw to sit there and hold on to that. That could have been big, Kelly. These straightaways clog up in a hurry when there's an accident, and with the banking and the speed of them, that was a good save there. Travis Hoffler, though, still trying to get around the 69, and we're starting to see some of these cars step out on the outside of the racetrack. Coming up through the turns 3 and 4, you can start to see them starting to maybe heat up those right rears. We did here in our redraw, the set is a little bit loose. We're going to see who can handle a loose race car.
Yeah, it might not just be about saving that right front, but the right rear as well, as Chad McLeod and Austin Williams continue to battle side by side. These guys have been side by side for a number of laps now, and Guillaume is looking to find a way through. He wants one of these guys to hurry up and win the fight so that he can follow them as he's trying to continue his charge to the front. But neither one of these guys, the 93 or the 85, is wanting to give up an inch. They have continued to stay side by side, and it's going to burn the tires of these guys a little bit as they aren't going to be able to use the full width of the track. I think that 85 is going to be pushing that right front a little more as he tries to keep the car down, as Shane Loveridge actually ends up coming behind the wall here. I don't know what happened to him. I think he may have just lost connection.
There may have been a little bit of an electrical issue on the 72, and that's a tough break as Shane was having a good run there. Now Philip Martin starting to work his way up the field. Martin runs in the 12th position. He is applying pressure to the 20 of McDuff. There's no change up front. Everybody, I think, Kelly, they know it's a long race here this evening. They are just kind of riding or biding their time, maybe trying to figure out where their car is a little bit better, trying to save those tires as we hit lap 24. 23 completely in the books as they work 24 down the backstretch.
Yeah, and these tires are already starting to lose a little bit of speed. They're down about 2 or 3 tenths from their fastest laps here. As I'm still watching Philip Martin, he is all over the rear bumper of McDuff. As I was looking at Hoffler there, he looked like he was running a bit of a higher line possibly. So a couple of these drivers experimenting here, trying to figure out where they can find some time, where they can find some speed, and also save those tires. Is now Martin going to maybe take a look to the inside coming on the front straightaway, but the 20 of McDuff is going to shade over a little bit and close that door, and that is going to force, the 46 gets a little bit loose off of 2 after having that shallow entry to turn 1.
Yeah, they really were trying to make something happen there as they work through turns 3 and 4, and I tell you, this race gonna go by in a hurry. Everybody kind of mind their P's and Q's. Those cars being on edge as we go back up front. Dylan Connor has kind of lost touch with the 55 of Negas. Maybe he was playing a little coy with us, said he didn't really have the speed expected to be freight trained. He has now opened up over a 0.4 of a second lead. He's holding that wheel pretty good. these cars being on the edge, maybe these drivers taking a little bit extra care of their race cars, trying to feel it out, see what's going to happen as this fuel load burns off. I did not get calculation numbers, Kelly, but I gotta believe even with a full fuel cell, 200 laps and the amount of throttle time these late model stocks here, the Renu Sealcoating late model stocks, are on the gas. I assume that we will have to get tires and fuel at some point here tonight.
Yeah, with how well these drivers are running throughout the season, it's a possibility that we may have to go some green flag pit stops here at some point tonight, as we are already 30 laps into this race, rolling lap 31 as Scott Austin moves to the inside of Josh Cole. He's going to try to slip through on the inside in 3 and 4, and he is going to get clear coming down the front straightaway, so move Scott Austin up into the top 3. Josh Cole now having to defend against Bryan Hacker, who's continuing to try to move himself up into the top 5 and trying to move closer to those podium spots.
They are all working there, and as I said that, now Connor starting to roll back in as your top 2 are your top 2 in the Rookie of the Year battle. The 90 leads that battle coming into tonight's racing action over the 55 of Negus, and that battle is on the racetrack flip-flopped on how the points came in here tonight, so we'll have to see how that unfolds as they work around this racetrack. And Kelly, they're going to start running into lap traffic here, and not so in the very near future.
Yeah, they're about under 5 seconds from Mark Keeler now, who is running at the tail end of this field at the moment. So they will be encountering some lap traffic. We'll be shaking things up a little bit. I'm sure Keeler will move to the high side and just let these guys through, but it will narrow up the track a little bit as they're trying to possibly make a pass. So if Dylan Connor wants to make the move, he's going to have to get sorted soon before they catch that lap traffic.
A little bit deeper in the field now. There's a battle brewing inside the top 10 to 33 of Braden Campbell, who started back in the 11th position up to now 7th as he works around Huntoon, and he brings the 69 of Nichols through. And 2 drivers that have not had a love lost are running nose to tail, the 20 and the 21. 1 week ago, some pleasantries were sent in the pit area there. Now Bergner trying to make a move underneath McDuff as he got the move. McDuff's going to give him plenty of space a little early on in the race, and that's bringing Philip Martin alongside there as well. And look at those marbles starting to build up on the outside and inside of the racetrack. That's going to come into play as well.
Yeah, that will affect things if someone does get out of shape and up in those marbles, but right now it does seem like we've got 2 clear lanes here, and these 2 lanes are working. It's just behind these guys we were just watching. Guillaume is trying to pass Austin Williams, but Williams is hanging tough on that high side. He's able to carry the momentum there. As these drivers are talking, as we get later on into this race, that inside line is going to build some rubber, it's going to get hot, and that outside line is going to come in, and that's looking like what's happening right now is Williams still carrying a good amount of speed. Looking up towards the front of the field, though, Dylan Connor has closed up to Scott Negus. It is a close race now. They're about a 0.2 of a second now between these 2 guys battling for the race lead and also battling for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, you can see the 55 working up the racetrack as Connor enters a little bit higher. Negus down low, so 2 different lines throughout for your top 2 cars there, and I think Connor might have found something as he is all over the backside, able to hold that bottom line a little bit better than Scott can here on lap 43. Scott Austin sits in P number 3. 4th is Bryan Hacker, and Josh Cole in car number 9 running out your top 5. Adam Gable sits in the 6th spot. Braden Campbell is 7th. Nichols, Bergner, and Martin now inside the top 10.
Here for the race lead, though, Dylan Connor got to the inside of Negus. Negus tried to defend in turn 1, and it ended up costing him on the exit of 2. And now he's going to try to pinch that 90 down just a little bit into the first turn. It looks like Connor got a little loose coming off of 2, and that is going to kill his exit speed. That time, though, Negus having to go shuffle up a little wide there to keep space between himself and Dylan Connor. They're still side by side. Only 0.04 of a second separated them at the line that time. Neither driver wanted to give up their chance to the lead, nearly making contact there right before they enter into turn 3.
Looked like a couple laps ago, maybe a little bit of netco between them. That's what got Negus up the racetrack. They're still leaning on each other, side by side for the 50 and the 99. We'll have a race lead that last time by as Connor will get the credit for leading a lap. Is now the 55 Venegas trying to roll back on the outside as they battle hard. Scott Austin coming back into this picture. He is quickly closing in on him, and they are closing in on the back side of the field. A wide entry, that exit for Negus. That's going to give the sole position to the 90 of Dylan Connor, your new race leader off of turn number 4.
Yeah, Dylan Connor going to hang on to the race lead as they're closing up on Mark Keeler, as he is going to stay high, try to stay out of the way, but that's going to cause him to go up in those marbles, so that'll affect his handling a little bit, but the lead group is going to sail right by him without too much of a problem. Scott Austin had to keep his exit a little tight there coming off of turn 4, but he gets through nice and clean, so Dylan Connor are going to take over our race lead here, and we're sitting here just about a quarter of the way through this race. Still a long ways to go, still a lot of time to see who has been taking care of their tires and who's been pushing too hard. As we look back, quick check in on Guillaume Fortin. He was not able to get around Austin Williams, so he's still stuck back there in 14th place.
He's trying to get there, but a good battle up there in front of him with Philip Martin, and they are all jammed up and jelly tight. Bergner underneath Braden Campbell. Bergner having a good run here early on, and now Nichols making his way towards the front as he works underneath Adam Gable. So 5 cars underneath the blanket, and they are side by side. Multiple grooves of racing here at the Five Flags Speedway, home of the Snowball Derby. And we have our own Derby Championship night here, presented by Renu Sealcoating. Underway is now Randy Nichols trying to hold off the advances of the 91 of Gable.
Yeah, Gable had a great crossover out coming off of turn 4 that last lap, but couldn't quite get the pass done. It's looking like that outside line is coming pretty strong here, as Gable nearly getting tight in 1 and 2 and nearly sliding up into the back of the 69 car. He is going to take over the spot though, so Randy Nichols is up into 6th place. A little bit of contact between the 21 and 33. They are both able to keep it pointed in the right direction, so neither one really stepping out that much, but a little bit of fender banging there between the 21 of Bergner and the 33 of Campbell.
Yeah, Bergner rolling the bottom of the racetrack a little bit better. They come up off the corner, a little bit of contact there. Bergner says, well, 8 tires turn better than 4, and maybe they'll give me a little bit of speed down the straightaway. Able to hold into that inside lane, and now Philip Martin trying to figure out which lane to go with, and behind them, you just saw it briefly on your screen. Fortin finally getting up around Williams and Huntoon. So now Fortin into the 12th spot from 23rd.
Yeah, he has been moving so far, so he's finally got himself free. He's still got a long ways to go as he finds himself about 6 seconds, almost 7 seconds from the lead here, and that is where he needs to be if he wants a chance at this championship. But we cannot take our eyes off of the 21 and 33. Those guys are still battling it out side by side, and Philip Martin's starting to get frustrated. He thinks he's got the pace. He's looking for a way through, but he's got to get one of these guys to finally make the passes. It looks like Campbell is starting to get the nose ahead, so he's going to move up to the high side, get himself to the outside of that chrome 21. And yeah, that outside line is just carrying a lot of momentum. That looks to be the place where you want to make your passes here now.
Yeah, and they both went right around the Dickens Cider. Number 21 is now the 46, going to cross up underneath Braden Campbell. He's going to go underneath them, underneath the Cadillac, and move Philip Martin now into the 8th spot. So Martin on a charge, and Campbell and Bergner going to go right back at it side by side once again.
Yeah, still trying to battle it out, and now they've got Guillaume Fortin behind him. Guillaume is able to get around McDuff, so he's now just sitting on the outside of a top 10, but still a long ways to go as he's watching this battle in front of him. Oh, the 21 and 33 make contact again. Campbell able to save it, as it looked like Bergner was just pushing a little too hard, came up the racetrack and just got into that left rear quarter of the 33 machine. Now that time, he's going to sail it in deep into 3. He's trying to make the inside line work as they door bang off of 4 once again.
If you're Guillaume Fortin, you got to be careful here as Bergner really uses up to 33. That time pushes them up into the marbles. That opens the line for the 13 QC. Number 0X, which means no contact, no incident points on these race cars, is a bonus point. Is now Fortin will work underneath the 21 of Bergner as they work down the back stretch. Bergner kind of baited them, said, well, if your car's a little bit better, you can try to get by on the inside. Meanwhile, Campbell, who got used up there, he's trying to crawl back into underneath the 21 of Bergner as this is great battle inside the top 10.
Yeah, that's not just 1 point for a 0X. It is 5 points. That is a huge bonus, and that could be a big difference maker. So Guillaume has to be very careful as he makes his way through the field. Finally gets clear of Bergner, but he's going to try to make the move up the inside. Forces Guillaume to defend on that outside as they catch up to a lap car here. That's going to tighten this track down, but Guillaume is going to be able to slot down underneath him, and now he's closing up to Adam Gable. Meanwhile, Jeff Bergner has not given up just yet. He still wants to move himself up a few more spots here, so he's trying to stick with that 13 QC and seeing what Guillaume is doing. Guillaume's pushing hard. I'm surprised his tires have still held on because I've seen a few of the passes he's made where he's just sailed it on the inside of turn 1, really asked for a lot out of his right front as he's forced to go way down once again as him and Gable made a little bit of contact there. So those guys are now going to battle it out side by side. A few spots in front of them. Josh Cole has just been passed by Randy Nichols, and he's now under pressure from Philip Martin.
Philip Martin moving his way up through the field as now he'll work underneath Josh Cole in that number 9 automobile. And in front of them is the Cintas 69, the driver out of Houston, Texas. That is Randy Nichols as he is out front, running in P number 5 of that battle. Everybody kind of settling itself down here. But up front, it is still Dylan Connor over Scott Negus and Scott Austin. Then it's some 3 seconds back to Bryan Hacker, who runs in 4th. Randy Nichols is in 5th. At just closing in on the halfway point is now Guillaume Fortin, where he'll work his way into the 7th position, working around Cole.
Yeah, and Cole is going to keep moving back as the 21 gets underneath him. Just behind them, Gable and McDuff are battling it out as well. And now Cole is going to possibly find himself involved in this. Looks like the tires have really fallen off on the 09 machine. He is struggling for pace as Gable gets underneath him. McDuff looking to possibly make it 3 wide. He was taking a peek down to the inside, looking for an opportunity. He's going to have to just settle for following Gable through now as Gable gets himself past and up into the into 9th. Justin McDuff is going to clear and get himself into the top 10. So big struggles now for Josh Cole. He started way up at the front and now finds himself outside of the top 10 as look at McDuff. He's going to take a look to the inside of Gable, but he's going to really get squeezed out of turn 4.
He did. Matt Cook, we were just had our eyes on him, as now Williams and Campbell make a little bit of contact, and that's going to let Donaldson down to the inside in the 00. So 2 by 2, they'll work up off of turn number 4. Campbell underneath Cole. Donaldson was underneath the 85 of Williams. Williams slams the door shut, and they single file it back out, but Williams is not done yet. And now he'll go underneath Cole as they work here off of turn number 4. And Gable way up the racetrack. McDuff's going to get by him. Everybody a lot of action around this racetrack here in Pensacola, Florida. The Five Flags Speedway for the Renu Sealcoating Championship night for the North-South Racing League. We're glad to have y'all on board with us here tonight. Is Matt Cook while working under Josh Cole. And Matt Cook starting to roll forward, Kelly, up to the 14th spot, up 6 spots from his 20th starting spot.
Yeah, but as we were talking about that, Scott Austin has got around Scott Negus, and Negus now looks like he is struggling for pace. He has dropped about 1.5 seconds off of Dylan Connor and almost a full second off of Scott Austin now. So he was pretty much running fairly equal pace to both of those drivers, and then suddenly has slowed up a lot as he still has about 3 seconds to Bryan Hacker, who now finds himself under some pressure from Randy Nichols, and only 1 car back from Nichols. That's the 13 QC of Guillaume Fortin.
And last time by, Fortin was the fastest car on a racetrack with a 1740. He's a tenth faster than your race leader and about 2/10 faster than some of the drivers in front of him. So Fortin from the back of the field, just looking at those last few laps, he has saved the tire and still has pace in that 13 QC, which we have seen this season. And Bryan Hacker has now faded back to the 5th spot as Randy Nichols has gotten by him.
Yeah, and they're getting past the lap car of Travis Hoffler there, who has been struggling ever since the drop of the green flag. He was in our redraw, started way up towards the front, and has now been lapped. But now Guillaume, look at that. He's going to take a peek to the inside of his championship rival. He's going to try to go for it there into turn 3, and he is going to slide right through, nearly gets clear off of 4. Still going to have to keep it tight into turn 1. He's now going to be clear, though. He's going to be able to slide up off of 2. As Bryan Hacker seems to be fading, he's now going to have to try to hold off Philip Martin. As Guillaume continues his charge to the front, he's now going to follow along with Randy Nichols. They still have about 4 to 5 seconds to the race leader, but they have got the pace, as now Hacker is going to have to move up a little bit as he lets Philip Martin get to his inside.
Yeah, Martin going to move Hacker back to the 7th spot. Meanwhile, they are all chasing the number 90 of Connor. And we got some drivers starting to come down pit road as we close in on this halfway point. Unless the tires are screaming at you, is now Fortin into the 4th spot around Randy Nichols. Guillaume Fortin knows what he needed to do, needs to get to the front, needs to win this race to put pressure on Bryan Hacker. The question to me, Kelly, is it too soon for some of these drivers to be coming down pit road with only having one set of tires?
Oh, absolutely. If you're pitting now after only 80 laps, how are you expecting to make it another 120 to the end? So these guys are going to put themselves in a difficult position pitting this early. They have just pushed their tires too much, but Guillaume putting himself into a really good position. He's now got 2 cars between himself and his championship rival. Hacker, though, still does have a bit of a buffer to the next car back, has about 1.6 seconds. Guillaume has got a long ways to go before he catches up to Scott Negus, who is still sitting about 2.5 back from the race leader, so about 3 ahead of Guillaume as he sits in front of Chad McLeod, who had just come down pit road. Scott Austin has been running a few good laps here. He has closed up that gap a little bit to Dylan Connor. It's about 0.7 of a second now, so let's see if Scott Austin can continue to save these tires and maybe challenge for a race lead here.
And right now, let's just assume, Kelly, that Guillaume Fortin and Bryan Hacker have 0 X's. Let's just assume that. We don't know as the race goes on whether or not they do. You might have that information. But let's just assume that. So that's 5 bonus points. That negates it. That zeroes themselves out. Guillaume Fortin has to finish 11 spots in front of Bryan Hacker to win the championship here tonight. Right.
Well, he can also get himself some bonus points for leading laps or even winning this thing, so he's got to keep himself moving up. I'm taking a quick look. Both of those drivers do have 0 instant points, so they're both sitting with that 5-point bonus as things are getting a little messy for our race leaders, dealing with cars coming out of the pits, cars that have yet to pit that are running a bit slow. And now Scott Austin still finds himself about 1 second back as he's got Chad McLeod on fresh tires behind him, as well as Rodney Huntoon. We've now only got 13 cars on the lead lap, and that is about to become 12 as Adam Gable is being caught by the 90 of Connor. As Gable seems to be really struggling with his tires, but Connor still rolling decent lap times.
Hey, you see a little bit of right front damage on the on-time Austin, the Zines entry, and he is going to come down pit road, down on that apron, and you can just see the tires and the marbles. That's going to make getting on the pit road tricky as well. With all those marbles, it's going to be like driving on black ice as Gable comes down pit road. It'll be a 1.4 second gap back to Scott Austin, who runs in spot number 2, and we are closing in on our halfway point here on Championship Night, presented by Renu Sealcoating. And these drivers are all doing a great job. Bryan Hacker has fallen back to the 10th spot, Kelly. The number 2 is in trouble.
Yeah, I never thought I'd say this, but the 2-car is struggling with his tires. Usually Bryan Hacker has been able to save them really well throughout this season, but he has fallen right off the pace. Rob Donaldson has now got past them. Hacker now in 10th, and Matt Hackathorn looks to be closing up that gap. He ran a lot faster than Hacker on that previous lap, 17.8 compared to an 18.2, but I mean, Hacker was also letting Donaldson by, so let's see this time now coming across the line. Yeah, once again, about 0.6 of a second, so Hacker is struggling. He is running way off the pace compared to the rest of the field.
They're going to come out there off of pit road with the 21. Hackathorn going to move inside the top 10, Kelly. And what I forgot, with that bonus point for quick time here tonight presented by Mad Plowing, Guillaume has to finish not 11 spots, but potentially 10 spots in front of Bryan Hacker and the number 2 Austin Designs car coming down pit road. Our first of our championship hopefuls coming down on pit road at the halfway point.
Yeah, this is an early call for Bryan Hacker. He may be struggling here tonight. If Guillaume can save his tires a little more, he'll have a lot of pace towards the end of this race. And if a caution were to also come out, it would trap Hacker 1 or maybe even 2 laps down, even with a potential free wave by. So this may be playing into the hands of Guillaume Fortin. We're going to have to just wait and see how this is going to play out. We are past the halfway point. We're at lap 102 of a scheduled 200. And Guillaume is starting to close in on Scott Negus, who has also found himself right under the bumper of the 5 of Scott Austin. So suddenly Austin's tires have fallen off a cliff, and now he's going to get passed by the 55 once again.
Yeah, I don't know if you've been paying attention to lap times on our scoring system. Guillaume Fortin still running 4s. That last time by Negus ran a 4, so maybe Scott saving some tire on that tilt load number 55. This time by the 13, going to work underneath Rodney Huntoon. And right now you come down pit road, it seems like you're going to lose about 2 laps. So right now, all these race leaders is now Guillaume Fortin going to come aggressively to pit road. Oh boy, did he get a penalty.
Guillaume has decided to cut this in just under in half here, so let's see where he's going to come out as the rest of the field keeps going. Dylan Connor is still putting down some decent lap times. I mean, he's running comparable to a lot of these guys that have saved their tires, so he's still putting up 17.5s. A few of these other drivers like Negus and Austin are running 17.8s. Matt Cook also putting down some decent lap times, as well as Hackathorn and Donaldson, so those guys have been able to save their tires quite a bit. Guillaume now coming out of the pits, so let's see where he's going to slot out here. Looks like he is in 7th, I believe. I think he has only gone down 1 lap, so he has only taken right side tires, it seems.
It looks like right sides only. He is only down 1 lap to your race leader. That along with Nichols and McDuff, which I believe had just gone a lap down or got their lap back, getting around the 90. So Fortin leading those if the yellow flag by Wizards Designs were to come out. As they all work around here right now, is only 5 cars left on the lead lap, and those 5 cars have yet to come down pit road. And I was a little nervous for him. It looks like our race leader is going to come down pit road now. Dylan Connor pitting from the race lead.
So that is going to leave Negus left out there. So he is going to take over the race lead once again as he led this thing to the green flag to the start of the night. He led a few laps before the 90 was able to catch up and pass him. So let's see how far Negus is willing to take this, as Scott Austin is also staying out for now. And he will not come down this time, as we are going to continue to have 3 cars left out there. Negus, Austin, and Cook. So let's see if the overcut is going to work for these guys, and if they can still have the pace later on, or if the drivers that are undercutting right now are going to be able to make things work.
Do you think that is now the race leader going to peel off the racetrack? That's going to give the race lead to Scott Austin. Is Matt Hackathorn going to try to work underneath him to get back with only 1 lap down? I was just about to say, Kelly, do you think that Fortin came down knowing that Bryan came down before him, trying to get that so you don't lose a lot of time? You see how much faster these fresh tires are. Is now your race leader of Scott Austin coming down pit road, and we have gone through a full green flag cycle, which I believe is going to cycle back to Connor leading over Fortin, Nichols, and McDuff.
Yeah, that looks to be how it's going to be right now. We'll have to see these couple of these drivers still coming out of pit road. And Scott Austin is still in his box. I think he may have made a mistake coming in. He looked a little crooked, or he may be taking multiple tires as he's now going to come off of pit road. Dylan Connor is going to lead this race. Guillaume Fortin runs in second. And that means Bryan Hacker looks like he is going to be running in 7th right now.
So Hacker running in the 7th spot. I believe he has to outscore Bryan by more than 11 points. Let's make that 10 because we know he got that bonus point for getting the Mad Plowing Fast Time Award here tonight. So Fortin out there trying. He's really putting the pressure to Bryan Hacker, who's doing what needs to do right now, just being 5 spots behind him. That's a little too close for comfort if I know the driver of the number 2 car. But Connor doing a great job out front. He is trying to lock up that Rookie of the Year honor over Scott Negus. And he is looking to do so as Negus right there in front of him, running in the 10th spot.
Yeah, Randy Nichols trying to get around a lap car here of Adam Gable as he is also having to defend against Justin McDuff, who is right on top of him. This is one of the closest battles we've got on the racetrack right now. So McDuff just trying to follow through here as a few of these drivers have taken different amounts of tires. I think the 91 may have stopped a little longer, or maybe was a little bit slower coming down pit road. A little bit of contact between the 69 and 20 as these guys are battling hard for 3rd place.
They are very battling hard as now the 69 out there. Looks like the 20 might be having some electrical issues on the number 20. Able to get it back in line there as they all work around here. I'd like to thank you all for tuning on in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Let these drivers know you appreciate their efforts as we watch this battle. But Guillaume Fortin about 0.7 of a second off the race lead as Bryan Hacker sits in the 7th. Those 2 drivers came in here tonight just 10 points separated. Guillaume Fortin picked up the Mad Plowing Fast Time Award, knocking that into single digits. Now finds himself unofficially 4 points out of the race, the championship title, unofficially by my quick math. We'll make Kelly's calculator work. I believe he will concur. Now that battle for the 3rd spot, still a good one on the racetrack. Another one that's kind of a good one. Back there for the 5th spot is Philip Martin trying to hold off Scott Austin, who's got about 0.2 of a second. There's McDuff takes a look to the inside once again on Nichols.
Yeah, but he came in too shallow. Nichols is going to get a good run off of 2 and open that gap back up. So you got to still save those tires. Still a long ways to go. We've got more than 75 laps here left on the clock. So you got to still pay attention to that right front. You can't be pushing too hard and keep those entries that shallow because it will come back to bite you later on here, as we've saw a few of these guys really fall off a cliff later on. There is quite a bit of a stack up here for 8th place. Rob Donaldson is leading that little group. He's got Negus right behind him, and then there's Hackathorn, and then a few, just about a second back is the 21 car. So still a few battles here in the field. Bryan Hacker still sits in 7th with Guillaume in 2nd. Guillaume, if he can get the lead, will get himself another bonus point for leading a lap. And the biggest thing is there's 5 bonus points for the win. So that could be the deciding factor, but he's got to beat Dylan Connor for it. And Connor has shown a lot of speed here tonight. Right now, he's actually running just a little bit faster than Guillaume.
And Scott Austin just got around to 46 of Philip Martin to put himself into the 5th spot. So that finish line, Austin Designs, number 5, came here looking to end the season on a good note. Like he said in the redraw interview, Kelly, the season has not been kind to him. He's had some fast race cars, just Lady Luck not on his side. Tonight looking to turn that away and runs in that 5th spot. Even the top 5 here with the amount of competition in the Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Series, that is doing something. And it's hard to believe 129 laps complete for Dylan Connor, and they've all been green flag. An amazing feat here on championship night.
Yeah, we've had a few drivers just make a couple taps to each other. A couple drivers getting sideways from them, but No one has gone around just yet. There are 3 cars that have pulled it behind the wall. It is Shane Leverage, Dan Janjana, and Austin Williams, who have all called it a night. We still have 11 cars on the lead lap, though, but it may be coming down to 10 just in a little bit here, as Jeff Bergner sits just about a second ahead of Dylan Connor now as they run through turns 1 and 2.
And that is not what Adam Gable's fans want to see, as right now, if that Wizards Designs yellow flag were to fly, he would get that free pass right now. But as soon as the 90 works around the 21, we know Bergner's going to put up a fight. And that could really close in this battle for your race lead, as Bergner trying to stay on the lead lap. 11 cars, like you said, Kelly, on the lead lap after the green flag pit stops. And they are all working around this track here in what has been an amazing run here on championship night.
And Guillaume still runs about half a second back from Dylan Connor. He has got to get himself into the lead here. It is going to be that's going to be the points that he needs, is those lead lap points and the winning bonus, because Bryan Hacker still sits in 7th. He is not really lighting the world on fire here tonight. It's been a bit of a rare occasion where that 2 car has not shown pace. And it looks like Scott Negus is starting to close on him, running a little bit faster, about 3/10 that time by him. But still, Hacker's got about 3.5-4 seconds to that 55 car. So he's still sitting pretty nice in 7th place. But it may not be enough here, as Guillaume is still starting to close in on the race lead.
Yeah, and they've got lap traffic right there in front of them, racing side by side, as Bergner has gotten around the 7 of Hoffler. Hoffler resides back in the 16th spot, as now they'll work in here through turns 1 and 2. As they work down the backstretch into turns 3 and 4, Hoffler going to give way to this top 2 duo. Guillaume Fortin going to catch him just a little bit at the wrong spot, unable to carry a lot of momentum down the straightaway. That allows Connor to pull open a little bit more of a gap. That was down to 3/10, is now up to a half second.
Yeah, that was a couple tenths that cost him, just having to tighten up the exit a little bit, as we see another car coming down pit road. That is Josh Cole. He's going to call it a night, it looks like. So that's unfortunate. Cole had a promising start here tonight, but has not had the long run pace, and that is going to be the end of him here tonight. But still keeping an eye on a couple of battles through the field. We've got McDuff on Nichols, and we also have Martin trying to chase down Austin here. And we still have a battle for 8th place as Negus continues to lead over Donaldson and Hackathorn.
Yes, they do, and they hold there in a couple car lengths between each of those. Philip Martin trying to close back in on the 5 of Scott Austin. Austin had gotten around him, and now they close in on the 15 of Matt Cook. Cook sits in the 12th spot on the race grid there, so he's up 8 spots. And other than Justin McDuff, that is your hard charger candidate here tonight, up 8 spots. McDuff is up 9 after starting back in the 13th spot. He sits in the 4th spot, and he looks to be closing in on Randy Nichols. But I think this battle between Austin and Martin is going to be the closest one on the racetrack currently, as they work through here in 3 and 4.
Yeah, there's also a pretty tight battle starting to shape up here between McDuff and Nichols. As you mentioned, McDuff is currently the hard charger, but he's looking to add maybe one more spot to that. He's gotten within 3/10, and he is closing in on Randy Nichols. And speaking of 3/10, there's now only 3/10 between Guillaume and Dylan here as they're coming around on the back straightaway. So we've got 3 battles here that are only separated by 3/10 of a second each.
And there's a tight battles all the way around the racetrack, and Guillaume Fortin closes back in just a little bit as we go on board with the driver out of Quebec trying to win the championship. And this would, if he could get to the race lead, that is going to put the fire to Bryan Hacker, who came in here tonight, had trouble 2 weeks ago, and now finds himself trying to hold on for the Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Championship. Unofficially, I have it down to just being 4 points to the good for Bryan Hacker.
Yeah, it is not going to be that for long, as look at Guillaume. He's caught right up to the bumper of Dylan Connor, but it's one thing to catch a driver. It's another thing to pass him, especially here at 5 Flags. There is multiple lines you can take. You can defend on the outside, or you can run a little bit better on the inside. Let's see what Guillaume is going to choose, if he can close up that gap just a little bit more for this race lead. But this is the deciding factor for him. He's got to get the race lead here, as Hacker is still hanging on by our math by just a couple of points. And we are closing in on the last quarter of this race as we roll along. Lap 149 coming here to lap 150. Still about 3/10 for Dylan Connor, as he has put the gas back down to the floor and opened up a little bit more of a gap here.
Okay, we look back there as the gap has closed just a little bit. Connor holding on to it just about 2 1/4 tenths. Over there, Fortin closes in a little bit more that last time by. Connor able to roll 1 and 2 a lot better though. Down here in the turns 3 and 4. And Kelly, if the 13 QC can get to into the race lead, the live points, assuming that the race would end at that point, would show Bryan Hacker 2 points to the good. He's got almost 3 seconds over Scott Negus and Rob Donaldson, who sits in 8th and 9th spot. Those 2 cars would have to stay behind before we have a tie for the championship. And I'll have to thumb through the NSRL rulebook to find out what the tiebreaker is. I believe it would probably go to the most wins, which the nod would still go to Bryan Hacker, who would have 6 compared to Guillaume's 4 on the season.
Are you factoring in the 5 bonus points that you get for the race win, though? It's not just the position. You do get an extra 5 for the win, plus the 1 for at least a lap led. I don't think he's going to get the most laps led. I believe that is going to go to Dylan Connor tonight. So I think if Guillaume can get into the lead and win, he will have it. I believe one of the scenarios we were given by the admins is if Guillaume were to win, Bryan would have to be 3rd place with a lap led and a 0x to be able to claim that the championship. But he has not been able to get up to the front. He's not led a lap. He is currently hanging on to a 0x right now, and that may be important because Guillaume has got to make the pass, but he's also got to make it clean. If he loses out on that 0x bonus, that could cost him, because that is 5 extra points.
It's 5 extra points. I thought a race winner was 2 extra points, Kelly, but maybe with tonight being a special long distance race, maybe the points are a little bit different. I'll have to open up that rule book here just to make sure I got my stuff together. But either way, he's got to get around the 91st, and right now Connor doing a good job keeping them at bay as they start to close in on Jeff Bergener, who is closing in on Campbell. And those 2 drivers had swapped some paint a little bit earlier on in the race as they work down the back stretch. And man, if you would have told me they would have gone the first 160 laps without a yellow flag, I think I would have lost that bet.
Yeah, it has been surprising these guys have been able to run this whole thing green so far. But quick update on a couple of those other battles. McDuff is losing ground on the 69 car like crazy. He has dropped way back, gone from being just 3/10 back to now being 9/10. Philip Martin is also losing touch with Scott Austin. Rob Donaldson is losing ground to Negus after being right on top of him, but he still has that 04 of Matt Hackathorn right on top of him.
Yeah, they are working here now. The 13 QC down under 2/10. He takes a peek off of turn number 4, unable to do anything on the front stretch. We have a race for your race lead off of turn number 2. Knocking on the back trunk lid is the 13 QC of Guillaume Fortin. He knows the championship is on the line. Can he get by Connors for it? He closing in on 35 laps to go here this evening, and it is going to be a long race here to get to the end. Who is it going to be?
The question is, have these two been pushing too hard? I mean, they're still running pretty equal to the rest of the field, but there's still a long time to go, and we've seen that the tires kind of just fall off a cliff at one point. They run pretty solid and pretty consistent times, and suddenly they just drop multiple tenths off. So we'll have to see if these last 35 laps, or well, 35 and a half right now, if these two can keep up this pace. Guillaume taking a look to the outside. He knows he's got some speed up there, but he has to back off, and it's Dylan Connor kind of planted himself in the middle of those bottom two lanes, as these two drivers are changing their lanes up quite a bit, looking for the opportunity, looking for the speed, as Guillaume continues to pressure that 90 as they've got lap traffic all around them.
A great battle for the race lead, and maybe Guillaume sees that battle in front of him. Keeler up the racetrack in the 08 car. He is going to give way, and Connor's going to catch him at the wrong time. They will clear him through turns 3 and 4, but the momentum was lost. Here comes Guillaume Fortin. He'll take a look to the inside. He can't do nothing off of turn number 4. Guillaume Fortin is throwing everything but the kitchen sink so far, trying to get to the race lead for the first time here tonight. If he leads a lap, Kelly, that's a bonus point. We did not factor that in, so that really tightens things up a little bit more.
Yeah, Guillaume, I think, has to win this race to win the championship. He's got to get there. Bryan Hacker still holds on to 7th. He's got 3 seconds in front of him and 2 seconds behind him to the other drivers, so he's looking to be basically sitting there for the rest of the night unless something is to happen to these other drivers over the next 31 laps. Guillaume trying all these different lines, trying to figure out where he can gain just that little bit of extra speed to get around Dylan Connor, as Dylan just continues to try to just hit his mark, try to focus on what he's doing, and what he's doing is working right now. It basically just enough to keep Guillaume off of him right now, but it is not by much.
It is not by nuts, and right now everybody is chewing their nails in the Bryan Hacker camp. The 13 of Fortin trying to do it, trying to win the championship. Bryan Hacker as well runs back in P number 7. And Kelly, historically, this has not been a great track for a Hacker, but maybe he has just been riding, saving those tires, and maybe he'll come on a large at the end of this one. Closing in on 25 laps to go. Guillaume Fortin unable to make something happen around Dylan Connor. Up off of turn number 4 once again. That time Connor going to pull a little bit more of a gap in the turn number 1. Nichols runs in second. 4th spot is McDuff, and he is slowly rolling back into the 5 of Scott Austin. Philip Martin runs in 6th. Bryan Hacker 7th. Scott Negus is 8th. 9th is Hackathorn, and rounding out your top 10 is the 00 of Rob Donaldson. Donaldson rounding out your top 10 here. Just 10 cars on the lead lap. Jeff Bergner sits in 11th. 12th is Matt Cook. Adam Gable is 13th. 14th spot, Braden Campbell. Rodney Huntoon is running in 15th. 16th spot is Amos Odegaard. Chad McLeod is 17th, and Mark Keeler 18th. Those are your 18 cars on the racetrack. Travis Hoffler, Josh Cole, Austin Williams, Dan Janjanet, and Shane Leverage all out of this one here with 24 laps to go now.
And Guillaume still can't find that extra bit of pace. He's been able to close up a couple times, but then, we got a car in the wall trying to let these leaders by. That looks to be the 33 machine. Braden Campbell just trying to give as much space as possible. Got up into those marbles and up into the wall, so that will not affect our race lead at all, or battle for the race lead at all. But Guillaume was able to get within, it looked like he was about a 10th off. He was right on top of Dylan. He had a good run off of turn 2, but just wasn't quite enough, and then dropped right back once again. He's got to make the move soon, though. These laps are ticking away. We are just at 22 now to go, and these are only 16 seconds as he sails it in there into turn 3. Guillaume also has to be careful. He needs that 0x. He needs those 5 bonus points to maintain that possible gap over Bryan Hacker. So he's got to make the pass, but he's got to make it clean.
He's got to stay off the wall there. They both enter the racetrack high, kind of float back to the bottom of it. And we got our first yellow flag of the evening. Not sure what it is for. Travis Hoffler back on lap 138, so not sure what the yellow flag is for here with 20 laps
33.
to go.
The 21 and the 33 got into each other going into turn 3. It turned Campbell sideways. He got righted by the 21. I don't think either of them got into the wall, but that car was sideways enough that it did throw our first caution flag of the night here. So this will shake up our battle for the race lead. It may give Guillaume an opportunity, though, because he may be allowed to be side by side. Actually, no, I think Jill and Connor will get a good jump since he'll have control of the start. So we'll have to see. I think they will start side by side, but Guillaume is going to have a good jump if he wants to challenge for the race lead.
And tonight's caution flags are brought to you by Wizards Design, specializing in custom-made signs lit with LEDs and crafted with vibrant acrylics. Wizard Designs is where creativity meets craftsmanship. They've proudly designed the North-South Racing League's awards and championship trophies for the past 2 seasons running. Check out their amazing work at facebook.com at Whitco23. Or you can reach out to David Kelsey, the proud owner and creator of the Wizards Designs, as he brings your ideas to life. As the field trying to get around there, I believe Justin McDuff coming down pit road, and he will be out, and I believe this time by Kelly. We might go into our choose cone. Let's take a look here.
I believe you're right. Yep. So Dylan Connor takes the bottom, and unsurprisingly, Guillaume will take the top. So these two will be battling side by side into turn 1. Last week, Dylan Connor elected to take the inside and then committed a restart violation. He moved up into the top lane before the start-finish line. So Dylan Connor has got to be careful of that this week. We're going to be, I think, 15 laps to go when we go back green flag racing here.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one here tonight. And it is going to come down to what is going to happen on this restart. Cautions breed cautions. The field will be stacked up. And like we have been alluding to all night long, Kelly, those bonus points are going to make a difference. Coming here, and you see these tires are worn out. But the good news is the track sweepers, they have done their job. Those marbles that have been building for 180 laps are now gone. Clean racetrack. Who is going to come home with the victory? We are about to find out. 15 laps to go into the Renu Sealcoating restart zone. And a great restart by Connors and a terrible start by the 13 of Guillaume Fortin. He's going to get shuffled back to 3rd.
Yeah, that's going to give Randy Nichols 2nd place as he slides up in front of Guillaume. Guillaume going to have to now fight back around the 69 car, then catch Dylan Connor once again. So this is a big issue for that 13 QC. That is not the restart he needed, and that is exactly the restart that Dylan Connor wanted, as he wants to just take this win for himself here tonight. Guillaume, though, now he's going to get to the inside of Randy Nichols now coming into turn 3. Nichols going to be forced to take that high side there, and he is actually going to slide up a little bit and lose a bit of ground, as Guillaume is going to take 2nd now. He is going to get cleared into turn 2 as Scott Austin now moves himself to the bottom side right underneath the 69 of Nichols. They are going to go side by side into 3. About 4/10 of a second now separate Guillaume and Connor.
And Bryan Hacker has slid back to the 8th spot. He'll try to work underneath the number 46 of Philip Martin, who stands up on the outside. Now that 6th spot separating those top 2. I believe it is now currently 2 points separating the top 2 in the championship hunt. The nod to the number 2 of Bryan Hacker. He's going to try to gain 1 point back. It is 1 point per spot. Currently right now, with coming to 10 laps to go, your race leader has a half a second over the field.
Yeah, and that time by Dylan Connor was faster than Guillaume. He was the fastest car on the track with a 16.945. That was 0.03 of a second faster than Guillaume, so Guillaume has got to find that pace here. He does not have a lot of time to close up the gap and make the pass, so he's got to get himself moving. Scott Austin sits nicely in 3rd place. He's opened himself up a bit of a gap, as Randy Nichols is a bit of a cork in the bottle here, as Hackathorn throws a big block on the 2 of Hacker going down the back straightaway. Hackathorn looking just for himself here tonight, as once again coming off of 4, he's going to slide down to the inside as caution flag going to fly once again. Guillaume is going to get a second chance as it looks like Amos Odegaard is facing the wrong way off of turn 4.
He is, and he will go to the infield as the field will roll by on the outside. And I was just starting to get ready. Bryan Hacker was in a very precarious spot there, Kelly, racing hard. If he loses that clean race bonus, that changes a lot for the championship standings.
Yeah, that would be huge here if you were to lose out on that bonus point. Quickly double checking, both of our championship contenders do still hang on to those 5 bonus points for a clean race. Really only a handful of incidents throughout the entire field. I think there's only 6 cars that actually have any sort of incident points here tonight. So fairly clean race. We get our second caution of the night. And Guillaume is going to have to try to find a better way to restart than that last time. That cost him a lot.
He was not ready. It looks like Jeff Bergner going to get the free pass. And he'll get back on the tail end of the lead lap. That gives us 12 cars. As we are slowed for only the second time, Kelly, in what has been a fantastic race so far. If you're just tuning on in, the field went 182 laps before our first Wizards designed yellow flag happened. And now we find ourselves underneath our second flag with 5 laps to go. And I believe this time they will come to the choose cone presented by Austin Design.
Which means I think we'll only get 3 laps here. If we don't get any more cautions, we will only have a 3-lap shootout to the finish. And unsurprisingly, Connor takes the inside, Guillaume takes the outside. So we will wait and see if Guillaume can just get a better restart than last time.
Everybody making it by the Austin Designs choose cone without any there. We want to thank Austin Designs for being the proud sponsor of the choose cone, and you can see a lot of his his handiwork out onto the racetrack is the number 5 of Scott Austin, supporting his own designs. And if you're interested in a new design coming to life on the iRacing platform, reach on out to Scott Austin for pricing and inquiry. Let him bring your iRacing look to the next level. All right, Kelly, I don't know about you, but my heart is pounding right now on this restart.
Yeah, and Bryan Hacker now with the choose cone, he finds himself in 6th, so this is going to be big for Guillaume. He has to get a good restart here. Let's see what happens, Al.
Into the Renu Sealcoating restart zone. The 90 gets a good start. The 13 a little bit of a better start. He'll hold on to second. Scott Austin going to try to get to the inside. He's at the left rear quarter panel with momentum. Will hold on to for Guillaume Fortin. As it is a green-white checkered dash for cash here tonight. The white flag will fly. Final half mile for Dylan Connor. Can he end the night as a winner? Off of turn number 2 and down the backstretch for the final time.
Dylan Connor going to hang on the outside, or the pole spot here. He's going to go all the way to the finish, and Dylan Connor is going to close out championship night with a win. Guillaume is going to have to settle for second place. Bryan Hacker comes home in 7th. We're going to have to do some quick math with and we'll see unofficially who will be our champion. I believe one of the admins is already clicking away on the calculator, so we will have an answer for you in the post-race show.
So your race winner, the 90 of Dylan Connor. And Kelly, unofficially, I believe that locks up the Rookie of the Year honors for this young man who came in here this season as a rookie with the North-South Racing League, and he will come here on the front stretch and burn it down in front of a packed out house here at the Five Flag Speedway, and doing a great job on the burnout. We will find out who our champion is unofficially by my math, as long as Hacker did not have any incidents on that green-white checkered run, I believe the 2 could be your champion. But we'll have to wait and see how this one will do. And as we wait, we'll go downstairs for one thing that was certain. Tonight's race winner here this evening as we head down to the front stretch. We'll bring Dylan Connor up here into the booth, and the driver of the number 90, Dylan Connor, going to pick up the win here on championship night and holding off some fast cars to do so. Man, a great race, 180 lap run to get this one started. Man, talk us through that. How nerve-wracking was that? You came down on lap 109, and you're able to come out here with a victory at the season finale.
Man, this one's big to me. Not only the season finale, but a showdown event as well. And kind of got made a mistake last week, and I put it all on me as far as the rule book goes, and broke a rule and got the win taken from me. But so to come out here and grab this one, it really means a lot, and I was really focused on this one.
Talk about this racetrack. It is a tricky racetrack to be good and to be fast on there. You nailed those last 2 restarts. Were you a little bit nervous? You know you had control of the field, but man, you had Guillaume Fortin. You know what he was racing for. You had Scott Austin right there breathing on the back bumper as well. Those restarts can be wild here at Five Flags. How'd you manage to get through that gearbox so smooth and hold on for this win?
Yeah, I just knew I had to. Those last 2 cautions, every lap right there had to be qualifying laps. G is so consistent and knows how to save his stuff, and me and him were just tit for tat right there before those last 2 cautions, and really all one who hit their marks in both corners. And just like I said, that's what it come down to at the end. No mistakes and hitting your marks every corner.
Well, you did a great job with that. You finally are able to close out the season here with a showdown event as well. Good momentum headed into the off season. We know the NSRL will be back in the fall, and it'll be right here back on the Turn 3 Racing Network. But a lot of plans unknown for that. But man, these late model stocks put on a great show for the last 15 weeks, and you did a great job. And I'm unofficially going to label you as the rookie of the season here. What's that mean to come out here with the amount of talent here, and especially the talent that you've had to battle in this rookie field to get that honor?
Oh, it means a lot. This is probably one of the most stacked competition leagues I've been in. Every week it's no cakewalk. This guy's in here just consistently fast every week, and he's going to be there at the end of the race. So to come out at the end of the season as Rookie of the Year with, I think, 2 wins and 6 or 7 poles, it really means a lot to me. And like I said, I just can't thank everybody enough.
Well, we'll roll the red carpet out here as we look at this beautiful number 90. Who makes it all possible on this car to put you in victory lane and all season long?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I thank y'all in the booth for us. Is giving us a great show to go back and watch. I think my dad doing a phenomenal job spotting, keeping me calm under those, I think, 180 laps straight. He does an amazing job spotting. I want to thank my family and friends for all their support, my fiance, and I'd like to thank my sponsors, Perrier Race Parts, and Chris and Alan Perrier with Caldwell Banker Elite.
Well, congratulations, Dylan. Go enjoy this one. A hard-fought battle here at the Renu Sealcoating Championship night. Well-deserved. Congratulations, and enjoy the off-season. We hope to see you in action with the NSRL come fall.
Yes, sir. Thank you. That's the plan.
All right. Dylan Connor going to pick up the final showdown, the final race of the season, Kelly. He's going to pick up the win. I believe you are catching up now with the driver that's going to come home second. Is that who you caught up with, or you got third place finisher Scott Austin?
No, I am caught up here with Guillaume Fortin. Yep, there he's down there. So here now with Guillaume Fortin. Guillaume coming up a little short here tonight. Walk us through those last two restarts.
Oh, that late race caution got me mad because I was saving my stuff, and I think I could have made a move on Dylan with like 10 or 15 to go, but I think overall the race went pretty smoothly. I was patient, and on the first run I think I did an amazing job saving my stuff, but I think I came up too short for the championship tonight.
Well, we're still getting some official word on that. We have not made an official announcement, so we'll have to hang tight there. But you had to start all the way back in 23rd to get yourself up to the front. I mean, what was it like making all those passes?
Oh yeah, it wasn't easy making those passes. It's Five Flag is a momentum track, so once you're stuck behind someone, it's always hard to make a pass. But once I got into a rhythm and the tires started to wear off, I think I'm really good at tire saving, so that's what helped me on the first run, making a charge up front. But being patient was the key tonight.
Well, a good, solid season for you here, no matter what the championship standings end up saying at the end of the night. Is there maybe a race that kind of stood out for you this season as maybe your best of the year?
I really love the road course. I loved it. It was always fun to bring those cars up here to a road course, but looking back at it, I think I did an amazing job, but I got into too much wreck up front with Scott at Stafford, with Dylan at Martinsville. So hopefully next year I can clean it up a little bit and being back at the top.
All right, well, we'll maybe talk to you a little bit later on once we get an official word, but if not, we're going to give you the floor here now. Who would you like to thank for your season here this year?
Yeah, first of all the sponsors that are from Quebec that sponsor us in real life. The real life racing season started back up this weekend, so they're the one making it happen for us. And also all the admin team at NSRL, you guys, and also all my teammates with Brian, Ronnie, Scott, and Justin. It's always fun to being with them on Monday night and enjoying the race.
All right, well, good luck to you here for the rest of the year. Hopefully we'll see you in the fall back in this league, and we'll get those numbers sorted out for you soon, and maybe we'll be talking to you in a few minutes here, Guillaume.
Yeah, hopefully the numbers speak for me.
All right, so that is Guillaume Fortin, our second place finisher here tonight. We're still waiting on official word. We're going to keep moving along here. I believe, Al, I think you may have caught up with our third place finisher, though.
I sure have. I've caught up with a driver of the number 5 of Scott Austin, who's going to come home with a third place here tonight. Scott, in a great run for a great looking race car. Man, you guys went 180 plus laps before our first Wizards Designs yellow flag of the evening. How do you concentrate that long? And you guys nailed the pit stops. And how nerve-wracking, how much thought process goes into being able to make that decision of when you're going to pit and when you're not going to pit? And you were one of the drivers, probably one of the last drivers to pit.
Yeah, once we got strung out, I kind of had a feeling that was going to happen, so those decisions kind of need to be made on the fly, but I was nervous for sure, I can't lie. I wanted this one bad. I've had a hell of a season, some bad luck, some mistakes on my part, switched over to a new ecosystem as far as sim gear, so I really wanted to be on the up and up for the end of the season and look forward to the next, so this is a big help.
Yeah, you talk about your season up and down. You've had speed. I would just say that Lady Luck has not liked you at some points. I don't know if maybe they weren't wearing the right cologne or something like that. But tonight, gonna come out here with a fifth and a third place with the number 5 in a showdown race. How different is your mindset when you come into these 200 lap races? We're normally running 125 laps on a weekly basis, and then Renu Sealcoating and has these showdown races here this season and final race of the season. What's the mindset like when knowing it's 200 laps and you have limited sets of tires?
I tend to really like these. Some people do, some people don't. You know, I kind of joke around and say that I take the Bubba Pollard approach. I'm not the best qualifier. I think that's no secret, but I pride myself on saving tires, using racecraft, and you know, working my way to the front. So having the extra 75 laps really helps. Stay calm, cool, collected, and try to be there at the end. And tonight we were able to do that.
Well, you're going to do that, and you on those final restarts, you had Bryan Hacker right there off the right rear quarter panel. On the restart, you had Guillaume Fortin. You know what was on the line for them. Does that play into your mindset at all, knowing that those drivers are vying for the championship and they're right there breathing on you?
Yes and no. I mean, I'm racing my own race. I want to finish on the podium just as bad as they want to win as well. But I know that the skill level in this league is huge. So you know that I could race those guys hard. They could race me hard, and we'll just have good battles. So you don't really have to worry about people getting squirrely on you or taking cheap shots, things like that. Especially with people like Hacker, G, the same guys that are up front every week. So it's really just a good time when that kind of stuff happens naturally.
Well, you're going to take this good-looking hot rod. It's going to be in one piece. You can put it back in the box, and we don't really know what the fall plans are yet. They have not announced that, but we look forward. This is going to be a good shot in the arm headed into the off season and into the summer months, where you kind of get to regroup and get the fleet back ready for another fall campaign. It's got to feel good.
Yeah, it feels good to end this one on the up and up. Finally get back to the podium after missing it quite a few weeks in a row. So like I said, this is good momentum. We'll stay busy in the off season. We'll come back strong in the fall.
Well, we'll roll the red carpet out here for you for this red race car. Always looking good. I know you do your own wraps on this here. Who makes it all possible for this number 5 car to be on the podium here in the ZooFab Garage post race show?
Yeah, there's a lot of them. I mean, Hacker and I talked throughout the week, kind of game plan, gives each other chips and pointers. The guys in the league, like I say, the skill level is high, so the racing is always fun. I really shout out to some of the rookies this year, Negus, Hackathor, and Connor. Those guys showing up every week, racing clean. I mean, all three of them were in the top 5 tonight. It's really cool to have, some new crop come in, dedicated, nice, good guys. The admins for putting on a great league. You guys for doing an awesome broadcast all year long. Austin Designs, Finish Line Home Improvements that are on the car. Papa Austin, he watches every week, which is cool. So yeah, a lot of people to thank, and happy to be here racing well.
Well, congratulations, Scott. We always like talking to you. Hope you have a good off season, and we'll see you back in action. I believe I heard sometime in September when the league kicks off, and we'll see you then. If not, we don't talk to you before then. Have a good summer, my friend, and thank you for your time.
You guys too. It's been a pleasure.
There you go. Scott Austin going to come home in P number 3. Kelly, and the calculators are smoking. The paper is flying. It is a tight one here for the championship, but I believe that we may have an answer for tonight's ultimate question. Who is the 2025 Renu Sealcoating champion?
Yeah, it was tight. It was separated by only 4 points. So by 6:05 to 6:01, this is unofficial. We still have a post-race review to go on, but I don't think either driver was really involved in anything that should change things up. So I think we can say that this is pretty much a done deal.
Well, we're down in victory lane, the both of us. And he's been sitting here wondering what's going on, looking at this race car. And we are proud to announce the unofficial 2025 Renu Sealcoating late model stock champion by, like you just said, Kelly, a mere 4 points here tonight. The driver out of Huntley, Illinois, the number 2 of Bryan Hacker.
Is it official?
It's
unofficially official.
Unofficially official by the math empowered by me and the admins. We've all come to the same number of 4 points, Brian.
Yeah, that's the number I had in my head. So, just glad that we could hold on. I sure tried to give it away tonight. I was not very impressive, but Happy to hang on. It's kind of reminiscent of last season. Kind of jumped out to a big points lead, then a few things happened and let Ryan Johnson catch up, and he damn near passed us at Five Flags in a showdown race, the last race of the season, and we almost gave it away again tonight, but I think we held on, and I'm glad we did, because I never would have been able to live down 2 weeks ago when I had the internet go out on me running second. That would have haunted me for a while.
Yeah, this season, up and down, you've had 6 victories this season. Pretty much a dominating season. And like you said, to come down to just mere points, this shows really the skill level here. How nerve-wracking was it in those final laps, those restarts, knowing you had to keep those 0Xs, the incident-free points, those that's a lot of big bonus points there. Did you have tabs on whether or not G was at the same level, or so you knew what to push, what not to push? Like, what's going on in the race communications in those final restarts?
Yeah, not a whole lot. I was just under the assumption that G didn't have any incident points, so knew that it was 9 points going into the feature, and it was a point per position unless he won, and then he got the 2 bonus points for winning. So thankful to Dylan for getting a win tonight and holding off G, because that's ultimately what kept us in front. So those last few restarts were a little nerve-wracking. I was trying not to hemorrhage positions. I felt like I was actually pretty good. We saved our tires a lot better that second run than the first run, but I just made 2 bad shoes cone picks consecutively, and kind of put myself in a tough spot to make up any positions. So we're just holding on, trying not to get into any wrecks, and also try not to lose too many spots.
You did a good job to regain those spots there. A great season, 6 wins out of the 15 races. We know you missed 1 race, so we'll call it 14 attempts. Not a bad batting average with the amount of competition here.
No, we'll take the season for sure. Six wins is pretty awesome. G certainly didn't make it easy on us, especially the last half of the season. He sure picked up a lot of momentum, but this will be one of my most cherished league championships, I think, just with the amount of competition that's in here this season, and had a really good rookie crop, and it's a lot of fun racing against these guys week in and week out. So heading into summer break, kind of looking forward to it, to get out and go to some real racetracks, and then hopefully come back in the fall, and we'll see what the fall brings.
Definitely, we'll see what that brings. A lot of rumors, and if you are out there wanting to get involved with the NSRL, make sure you head on over to Facebook to North South Racing League. Give them a like and a follow, and I'm pretty sure probably midsummer, so we'll start rolling out some of the information about recruitment races and all that. So just keep an eye on there. I don't even know what's coming in the fall, and I was told that they don't know. So hey, we're all in the dark, but it's the summertime. We're going to get out to those real racetracks just like you are, Brian, and going to enjoy ourselves and spend some time with family and friends and all that. The question is, are you hopping in the car and you're going to Orlando with me for the drive over tonight?
No, not a chance. Orlando does nothing for me. You have fun with that.
All right, I will. But congratulations on this championship. Kelly, any questions, any thoughts, anything for Brian?
I mean, mainly, Brian, like, how do you keep your cool when you've got, that tight of a championship battle in the back of your mind in one of these races?
I mean, going into it tonight, I knew that Five Flags wasn't going to be a track that I was going to win on speed. Probably wasn't even going to run that well. This is one of my worst tracks for whatever reason. Just can't seem to figure this place out. So really just wanted to maximize and get the best finishing position that we could. Didn't want to get into any unnecessary situations that gave us incident points. So really just trying to maximize on the night and hope that it was good enough to hold off G, and luckily it was. And hopefully next season we don't do the 200 lap finale of Five Flags, because it seems to put some added stress on me that I'd like to change that going forward.
Well, maybe you can give us a little insight on what's going to happen next season. You going to maybe tell us what you'll choose for your champion's choice for track?
It's not going to be here. I like flat. I don't know. I like flat drivers tracks where there's a lot of off throttle time. So, I'm notorious for picking tracks like Stafford. I didn't pick Milwaukee this year, but Milwaukee's actually one of my better tracks, even though it's kind of a boring track to run. So we'll see. But there's a few others that we haven't run here in maybe a season or two that I might consider, and or who knows, maybe I'll throw them a total curveball and tell them we need to go dirt racing.
I like it.
Yeah, sounds good. Hopefully we'll see things get a little more switched up. I mean, we had the road course this year. Let's see if we can get some dirt next year.
Yeah, we've had dirt in the past, and it was fun. I mean, it was fun for me. I think some of these other guys may disagree.
Well, Brian, a championship season coming to a close here tonight. For the final time, let's roll the red carpet out. Who makes it all possible?
Yeah, Scott Austin Designs. He had a great run tonight. He always does. He's got this place figured out. He always gives us good-looking cars. He's a good buddy of mine. Glad to have him in our corner. Certainly, the other guys in our Discord channel. Rodney usually shows up every week, and Justin's been coming out here lately. He had a good run tonight too, and G certainly. Formidable opponent to the point that our Discord conversations got pretty quiet there late in the season because neither of us really wanted to show our cards to one another. So cool for those guys sticking it out this season and having a good time. Aberdeen Lodge, Carbon Junction, Boulder Beer Bar, the guys that have been with us for a while. The league, certainly, all the admins. There's a lot of time and effort that goes into this, and we couldn't do it without those guys. And especially this season, what they did for my family and the folks that support our family and the charities that are near and dear to us. Very cool to be part of this thing. And last but not least, you guys. It's cool to go back and watch these, and I enjoy the broadcast. You guys do a bang up job, and hopefully it sounds like we're bringing you guys back for the fall, and that's a good thing.
Oh, you're bringing Kelly back. I'm just here to push the buttons. All right.
Well,
I have a question. Are you going to give me a pronunciation booklet?
I try every season, but it seems like you take a look at it once and then throw it in the trash. So I don't know if I'm going to waste my energy.
Well, Brian, thank you for the kind words, man. I know that we'll be chatting. Congratulations on the championship, a hard-fought one all season long. Thanks for making it exciting and making my brain have to do math while I'm on vacation. I appreciate that.
Well, enjoy Florida, and Kelly, enjoy north of the border, and hopefully we'll get to see you do some live action fighting here at some point.
I mean, I was supposed to be down in Houston in a couple months. Not quite gonna work, so we'll have to wait until next year.
You tariffing your equipment, or?
No. I'm a little busy with a few other things, and the future missus said no.
Fair enough. Well, you've learned well.
All right, Brian. Well, thank you for your time, buddy. Go enjoy this one. We'll be down to have a bush apple with you.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
There you go. Your 2025 Renu Sealcoating late model stock champion, Bryan Hacker. And that will do it for the ZooFab Garage post-race show. And we'd like to thank Dustin Shepard and the guys at ZooFab Garage for presenting tonight's and all seasons post-race show. Whether you need your street car tuned up, your hot rod, or race car with uptick on performance, ZooFab Garage is the one-stop shop to do so. Make sure you stop down and see Dustin Shepard for all of your car needs. And like that, Kelly, that is going to do a wrap here tonight for the Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Series. And we can't thank the guys and gals at Renu Sealcoating for all that they've done for the Late Model Stock Series this season and paving a great road right here to the Five Flags Speedway. Mad Plowing, serving Oregon, Wisconsin, and surrounding areas. Give them a call today for all your landscaping and plowing needs. RC2 Graphic Solutions, your events, our designs. Wizards Designs, the proud maker of the championship awards here for the North-South Racing League. And Austin Designs, we can't thank them enough for sponsoring our Choose Cone this season, and along with being a great partner of the North-South Racing League, and as always, the ZooFab Garage folks for keeping our rig tuned up so we can make it up and down the road. Kelly, final thoughts as we leave Five Flags. We're going to the off season, and we'll be back in the fall of 2025 with the North-South Racing League. Looking forward to what kind of racing we might be seeing. We don't really know. We'll find out as that comes out, but please keep an eye on the North-South Racing League's page and Turn 3 Racing Network. But Kelly, thank you for a great season, my friend. It's been a pleasure sitting in the booth here, having fun each and every Monday night.
Yeah, it has been a great time for the 2024-2025 season, and hopefully the 25-26 is just as good. I mean, both of our championships for this year have come down right to the final race, right to the wire, where we've had to be sitting here doing math with between ourselves and the admins to figure out who is the champion. Hopefully that will continue to be the case as we go into the next season. And like you mentioned, we don't know exactly what the racing or what we're going to be driving, what tracks we're going to be going to. That's all going to be decided over the next few months. So we are eagerly awaiting that announcement, and either way, it's going to be a fun time.
It definitely will be a fun time. We hope you've enjoyed us bringing you all the racing action all season long here for the Renu Sealcoating Late Model Stock Series for the North-South Racing League. I hope you all have a great summer, Kelly. Enjoy your summer. I know you got a busy plan this summer, and I'll give you an early congratulations on that, and congratulations to Bryan Hacker, your 2025 Renu Late Model Stock Champion, just edging out Quebec's Guillaume Fortin by just a mere 4 points. And we can't also forget to congratulate Dylan Connor, your 2025 Renu Sealcoating Rookie of the Season. Until the fall, we hope you all enjoy your summer. We'll see you in Turn 3. Have a good night, everybody.